There we go. Thank you for your patience, lovely people. We are live with the beautiful Allison Ockenden. I would love to introduce this lady to all of you today for our Up Spiral Grief series, because Allison is doing something quite different to the normal job or business that other people run. And it's quite related to the topic of grief, and in particular, up spiraling the topic of grief, because she brings something really beautiful into this world, which I would love for you to know about. So Allison, without further ado, before we get actually to start talking about what you do in your business, can you just introduce yourself a little bit to the audience so they know who you are and how we come to talk?
Yes, so my name is Allison. I'm the owner of Today, Tomorrow and Always. We're going to talk a lot about my business, so a little bit about me personally. I am a mum of 4. I also have a 1-year-old grandson. I know, I don't look old enough. Thank you. I can hear you all saying that out there. I have a fur baby who is a boxer who thinks she's human, and that all humans were put on the earth just to pat her. That's their only goal in life. So yes, we're a very full home. I'm an ex-military wife, an ex-military serving member. I can't think of anything else.
Perfect. That's a lot already. And no, you do not look old enough to be a grandma. I have to really highlight that as well. So Allison, you and I had a bit of a chat beforehand, as I always do with people that I bring on camera here. And I was quite blown away by your story and how you got into what you're doing now. Is it okay with you if we start with the story and tell us a little bit about your precepts to actually running this business now? Because I've already given a little bit away what it is about, but I'd really like for you to get into the story first.
Now, I do need to warn everybody, I've had like a really emotional few days. So if I start crying, please bear with me.
Absolutely okay. Crying is fully allowed in this group and we do lots of it, and that's okay.
I don't know why. For the last few days, I think I felt him really around me the last few days, and it's just really like touching me right in my feels. But Today, Tomorrow and Always was founded in 2018. On the 18th of September 2015, I actually lost my fiance. He died suddenly. He was a dialysis patient. So he had health issues, but was actually the healthiest he'd been since, I think we worked out it was like 23 years or something. And when he passed, it was a shock. He didn't pass from anything related to that. It was something completely unrelated. And my family and I were actually looking to move over there for a while, to Canada. Sorry, I probably should have said Canada. Where that is. For all the mind readers, you know, that are on holidays in the room, let me just actually give you that information. And so I found out, actually I just had this feeling on a Monday night, and I rang my partner and he didn't answer. So I rang my mother-in-law and she didn't answer. So I rang my sister-in-law and she said, oh, he's back in hospital. You know, they don't know what's wrong. He's going back in for surgery soon. And I don't know, something in me, the next words out of my mouth was, do I need to book a flight? And she said, no, he'll be fine. You know, we've been through this before. You know, he'll pull through, you know, it's nothing to worry about. But the feeling in my stomach was just, no, something's not okay.
Isn't it amazing how we have this gut instinct and it kicks in so intensely when we are so connected with a person that we just know, no matter what the circumstances or what other people tell us.
Oh, look, he and I had a really creepy connection, I'm going to call it, being that we kind of are on opposite times because of where we are in the world. I would have a dream and I'd wake up and we'd talk the next day and I'd say, oh, I had a dream about a unicorn. And he'd say, yeah, and the unicorn was being ridden by a pink fairy. Or like it was so specific that we would actually finish each other's dreams because at opposite times of the day, it was weird. So I did what every grown adult does, and I went running to my mum and I said, Mum, look, A, could you lend me some money? B, can you also watch my 3 kids while I go overseas? And I have the best mum ever. And of course she she supported me 100%. And so the following morning, I got on a plane. I landed in Edmonton on the Wednesday, and was driven straight to the hospital, and he passed away Friday. So I just made it.
I know I've heard this story before, but it still gets me when you say that. And it's just such a beautiful example of always trusting your gut instinct, you know. And I'm thinking in his passing, what a beautiful gift that was, that your gut instinct was so strong, and bless your amazing mom.
Yes.
She comes in and, you know, helped out there for you to be able to do that. So, yeah.
Oh, look, and I mean, I'll give myself goosebumps because I know how the whole story goes, but it was one of the most surreal things. So when I first walked into the intensive care unit, he was already on life support. And I walked in and he had 2 doctors and a nurse there. And I walked in and he started getting excited because, you know, we hadn't seen each other face to face in about 2 years, I think, at that point. And he started setting off all of the alarms because he was intubated. He was breathing so rapidly that it was actually messing with the machines. And of course my extended family was all there, you know, and they were all quite concerned. But the relationship him and I had was, I mean, he was the biggest child I've ever met in my life, and I've grown a few of them myself. And so for this 42-year-old grown man, like, my nickname for him was MC, which stood for man-child. Like, it gives you an idea of, you know, just how immature he was. And I've walked into the room and he's gone, said everything crazy, and my response was, calm down, people are going to look, you know, like, you're drawing attention here. And the doctors, as soon as I spoke, went, oh, you're the fiance. And I went, yes. And they're like, oh, we've heard, you know, all about you the last few days. And I went, oh, I'm so sorry. And they said, why? And I went, because I can only imagine that you're so sick of hearing my name that you were glad to have put that thing down his throat. And so everyone in the room kind of giggled then, and it kind of lightened the room a little bit. But the next few minutes were followed by him using some form of made-up sign language to propose to me as he was laying in bed intubated. And I already had my promise ring on. So, you know, I showed him, like, it's already here, don't worry. And the only communication that we had was writing. And so every time a new doctor or nurse would come in, he'd write, make sure they know she's my wife. We took the paper and pen away from him really quick. It got to the point they know. Everyone he knows, because apparently, you know, when you could talk, that's all you could talk about, was that I was on my way. So I look back at that, and while it was the hardest moment of my life, I've gotten to that point now where I can find the beauty in it. I can find the bits of it that make me smile. You know, having to give the order to turn off the life support is something that I will carry a little bit of guilt with forever, even though I knew that that's what had to happen, and it was on medical advice, and all of those things. It will still kind of stay with me that, you know, having to say those words out loud. But yeah, I do. I'm 5 years. It was 5 years. September just gone. So I launched this business in.
Allison, before we go into the business, sorry, I need to ask you this, and if it's too confronting, it's absolutely okay. You don't need to answer it.
No, go ahead.
Is that something that you had a chance to discuss with him in writing in any sort of way, or because I know it is one of the most confronting questions you would ever be asked, you know, to make this decision. So I can only imagine for people listening to this, we've got another Allison watching here, and Terry.
Oh, hi,
Allison. What is it that made you know in your heart that this is what you had to do? Did you have help from him helping you with that decision, or was it your strong connection, your intuition? What would you put it back to that helped you actually say those words? It must be the hardest thing ever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. And it's not something I would wish on anyone ever. And I'm going to say a little bit of everything. So in so he was readmitted to hospital the Saturday beforehand. So 4 days before I got there. And when he went in for that last surgery, that was the 4th one since he'd been admitted. And my sister-in-law and I had a conversation, you know, without my parents-in-law. And we just said, look, if they come back to us, so he actually passed because his intestines were dead and dying inside. And so it was poisoning him from the inside. So they had done many surgeries to try and fix that. And I won't go into the details of it, but we'd had a conversation and said, look, if they come back and say, look, there's a 1% chance that he will be able to pull through from this, then we're going to make him fine. But if they come out and say there is nothing we can do, there's no, even if they had cut out the dying tissue and then, you know, kind of fixed what they could, it wasn't an option. And it was, by the time they realized what was happening, it was too late. So it was a conversation that we'd had that we knew so that the medical advice to us was that the longer we let him come out of the sedation, the more alert he's going to be and the harder and more painful it was going to be when the machines were turned off. So we kind of had to make that choice before he even came out so that we knew what was going to happen with just a look. You know, we didn't want to have to say it because my stepdaughter, you know, there's no way she was going to be able to say those words. My parents-in-law, they were never going to be able to say those words.
If you don't mind me asking, at that stage?
He was 42.
No, your stepdaughter, I mean, sorry.
My stepdaughter, she was 19. Yeah.
It's a huge decision to make for a 19-year-old,
Oh, yes.
For any daughter, but
Yeah. And her mum was actually at another hospital with her partner who passed away, actually within 12 hours of Manny.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, that's another goosebump story, but that's not what we're here for today. So, it's, like I said, I wouldn't wish it on anyone. But I just knew that the longer he come out of it, because the medication that he was on for the pain stopped any chance of his body healing. So the more pain relief we gave him, the less chance he had of healing. The more pain he was in, it meant his body had the chance to heal. So it was this balancing act of how much pain, you know, do we put him through? So when he came to and was asked the question, are you in any pain? And he said no. He knew exactly then and there what that meant. There was only one reason that they would have dialed it right up, and that was because there was no chance of coming out. Yeah.
Just so you know, because you can't see that, I've got my little camera next to me so I can see comments and questions here on Facebook, but you're getting all these love hearts sent while you're talking.
Thank you. I should have thought of that. Beautiful. I could have had it up on my screen too. Been watching the love come through.
That's okay. I'm sending it on to you. So, Allison, I can only imagine, like, you know, having to make such a decision. I don't wish that upon anyone. It is definitely one of the hardest things we would ever have to go through as a human being, no matter who that is in our lives, to have to make a decision about somebody else's life, knowing that there is no other decision to be made, but still having to be the one to say it out loud. I can only imagine. So I would really love to talk to you about how on earth did you go from experiencing that and flying to almost the other side of the world to doing what you do now. And let's talk about that a little bit, because, you know, this is spraying a bit of hope and up spiraling into the grief world. What you do is just so beautiful. Tell us a little bit about what made you start this business and what it actually is that you do.
Okay, so about 18 months, maybe 2 years after Manny had passed away, I discovered that there was an industry that made breast milk jewellery. I myself had 3 children at that point that I'd both breastfed and at some point bottle fed as well. And I thought, wow, that's a little creepy. And then I kind of thought about it a bit more. And once I really thought about it, I thought, hang on, if I had climbed a mountain, I would take a photo, the best selfie possible at the top of that mountain to show everyone, look what I achieved, look what I did, that a lot of people don't make it, don't, you know, have
I love the analogy.
Yeah. See, but you get it, right?
Yeah,
And to me, it's the same as feeding a baby, whether you breastfed, bottle fed, mix fed,
yeah.
whatever you did, you still had to get up at 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock and 4:30 and 4:45 and all of those mornings, you know, for feed times. And even when they're sick, you know, the sleepless nights of having a child, nothing can prepare you for, I don't think.
My
And
baby always slept perfectly all the way through. Just kidding. No way. No way.
See, I was really lucky. My first daughter at 6 weeks old slept through.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
I was
People
just making
hated
a joke
me.
about it, but no.
Yeah,
That's
no,
amazing.
I own the hate. When people say I hate you for that, I'm like, I know. I hate me for that too.
No,
But
I'm very
believe
happy
me
for
when
you.
I
It's amazing.
say, yeah, my next child, no, he didn't sleep through until about 20 months. And in the end, we had to actually get medical intervention because he still wouldn't sleep through. So
20 months.
Yes.
You say it so easily, but that is 20 months.
Almost 2 years.
Of not sleeping properly or hardly at all. That is just...
He would still wake up 3 times a night. And I'm like, kid, I love you, but I don't love you at this time of morning, every morning.
Yeah.
So yeah, karma came back and bit me well and truly on the bum. So yeah, I found out about breast milk jewellery, and there was a company that was offering a course to show you how to make breast milk jewellery. And I thought, oh, that's something interesting, you know. I had been studying a degree in accounting when Manny was alive and was halfway through when he passed away. And I'd stayed in Canada for a month helping my family with the family business and just trying to help them get through those first few weeks of life without him before coming home. And then when I got here, I'm like, oh, I really don't care about this. I really don't care about numbers and figures. And it just, I didn't have the passion for it. Every time I would sit down to study it, my brain was just, I was just overwhelmed.
Priorities really do change when you lose someone. That is, I always talk about the hidden gifts in adversity, and I believe one of them is to really get so much closer to our true calling. Like it really shifts our perspective about what's truly important in life, and to be able to do something with so much meaning that you do now is probably one of the hidden gifts in your adversity. And I just want to quickly backstep. So you actually were without your 3 kids at the time for 1 month.
Yeah.
Wow. That is a huge thing in itself. That is
The hard part was the fact that they never got to meet face to face, because I went over to surprise him the first time, and then the second time was for his funeral. Due to his illness, we were actually scheduling a trip here for him, but we had to arrange a dialysis clinic that was close to us because he had to dialyze 3 times a week. And it was about 6 to 8 hours each session. So it was a lot to do to have him over here, but that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to come here. So yeah, we were just trying to figure it all out and get it all, you know, arranged.
How old were your kids at that time?
So they would have been...
Sorry, I'm constantly interrupting you, but I want to have all the details for the story.
So my eldest would have been 15.
Yeah.
My son would have been 13, and my youngest son would have been 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my 2 older children refer to him as their dad. Whenever anyone asks about their dad, they say, oh, my stepdad passed away, but I also have a biological dad. Like that's the order that they explain things in. And it's so incredible to me because they never got to touch this man, and yet he was such a huge part of our life that's who they consider to have been more of a father figure. When something went wrong, they would call him. So
they would be in like video conversations or anything?
Yeah, well, they had their own relationship with him as well. So
that's what I'm saying. So they built their relationship all over video conference, really. Wow.
Yeah, he was just incredible. And you know, to take on 3 kids that weren't his, and love them, and his whole family just loved them as much as they would have if you know, if they were his. And I've since had another child, and even her, you know, my in-laws still love her just as much. you know, and yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to the how I do what I do. So I looked into it, and I realized all of the other ways that that using resin to make breast milk pieces and jewelry could be used. And one of them was ashes and hair. And it was like a punch in the face, like, wow, like this is what you're meant to be doing. You know, I tell people, and I joke about it all the time, that if I had known that this existed then, we would have had him buried bald. Like I would have, you know, after the viewing and after everyone had seen him all looking lovely, I would have had that head completely shaved, and we would have had something of him, you know, to keep with us, but I didn't know. So my company's mission statement is erasing the phrase, I wish I knew you existed when. Because I hear it so often, and it breaks my heart each time, because I said it. I was that person. So when people say it to me, I know exactly how, like the depths of sadness that they're feeling as those words come out of their mouth, because I said them myself. And I say them regularly. I really do wish I'd known. I now have a 23, 24-year-old stepdaughter who one day has to get married without a dad. And that kills me. And she's the reason that I actually have moved into the wedding industry as well as the loss side of things, because by using the hair or ashes of a dad who has passed, we create a crystal that is wrapped around her bouquet, and her bouquet is held in front of her, and her dad literally guides her down the aisle. A literal part of him not only is with her, but, you know, fulfills that walking with her, you know, dream that most girls and most dads have when they know they're going to have a little girl. At some point I get to walk her down the aisle. So it's making both of their dreams come true in what I call plan B. You know, it's definitely not the ideal situation. It's not what you would choose if you, you know, had all the options in the world. But in this particular scenario, it's all I can do. Okay. I'm doing the best.
And it's such an amazing thing to do. It actually gives me goosebumps, because I'm one of them. I did not have my dad to walk me down the aisle, and or I should say walk me down the beach, because we had a barefoot wedding on the beach. And my brother gave me away at the wedding, and my second brothers, I've got two. And this is something that I don't even think was around at that time, because my dad passed when I was 20. So it's you know, a long time ago now. And what is Terry saying? Wow, that's beautiful, truly beautiful. It is. And Terry, I was just about to mention this, you know, like Terry, for example, has got a really beautiful silver pendant. I hope you don't mind me sharing this, Terry, because I know you shared it in this group, otherwise I wouldn't, with a fingerprint of her son on there, which is just so beautiful. And I have to be honest, I wish I would have thought of that when Rob passed, but he passed so suddenly. There was no real time to think about these things and prepare for that, and he got cremated. So you know, I do have his ashes, so I'm still in the position that I can make jewelry out of that, which I did for his mom's 70th and his dad's 80th. So but it's such an emotional topic, and I'm thinking, you know, as a girl, as you said, you know, you always have this dream scenario of oh, thank you, Terry. Love to share, she says. Of your dad walking you down the aisle, down the beach, wherever you get married, to be there with you, and to have such a beautiful plan B, like you call it, because that's exactly what it is. You know, our plan A would always be to have them with us in person.
Of course.
But to have something like that, it just gives me goosebumps just to think about how beautiful that would be when you hold your bouquet, that you know you've got your dad somehow with you. It's just really... Allison, I have my daughter's ashes and hair in a pendant. That is so beautiful. Yes. Yeah,
and I mean, some brides, like it's a very, very personal thing, especially when it comes to weddings. Some brides prefer beads. So I mean, I have one here, but it's not really made. But so this one's breast milk with some rose gold. Flecks in it. So some brides prefer a bead like this that they can then kind of pin onto the inside of their dress, and have it skin to skin, while others, you know, want a ring made, a special ring made that they wear, that they can go and show people, I have my dad with me. And it's not always a dad. Maybe it's a brother. Maybe it's, God forbid, maybe it's your mum. Maybe it's, you know, the worst case scenario, maybe it's one of your own children. No matter the person that's missing from your wedding, we can create something that actually means they are with you. That, you know, the vessel that held them. I'm very into spirituality and stuff like that lately, and I blame Nanny for starting that, because I kind of, you know, flustered about, you know, like, oh yeah, you know, I believe in this and I believe in this, and you know, now, you know, having, like, he's such a man child, as for those that have joined us since I said that, he will, you know, most spirit, if they, you know, kind of surround you so that you feel them, will do little things, you know, like he shows me white butterflies, but he will also go and turn on the light in another room, so I have to get up. Like, just, you know, mean, nasty, I was comfortable, why did you make me move kind of things. He's, and I guarantee he'd be sitting there laughing his butt off. Like, he thought he was so funny. The bad dad jokes were plentiful. We laughed at him a lot. But yeah, you know,
that's the most beautiful connection that you get, you know, between people, when you have that to share, you know, to make each other laugh. I always, it's beautiful, because my sons are now 12 and 10, almost 13 and 11 actually. And, you know, sometimes I just look at them and I'm just so blown away, because I'm thinking, you guys are growing up without a dad. And I mean, look at you. I'm just so proud of them. And now my older one, I'm glad he's not on Facebook. He'd kill me if I would share that on Facebook. But, you know, he's getting into this puberty age where he's asking more and more questions about girls and relationships and what's important. And I remember him saying, what is the most important thing in a relationship, Mum? What do girls go for? And I'm like, oh, you're asking me. I love it. And I'm like, I want somebody to make me laugh. That is one of the most important things, Flynn. Somebody who makes you laugh, and somebody who listens to you, like really listens to you attentively, and not just, you know, just rapping on about something again. And well, you know, women can talk, as we all know, and to have a guy sit there listen to you, it's just really beautiful. And I love that he's asking me those things. So yeah, anyway, I don't even know how we got sidetracked to the topic, but Allison, I would love for you, is there any chance, I don't even know, I didn't prepare you for this, I'm putting you on the spot, I get that, but have you got some pieces of jewellery that you can actually share with us, show us, or at least tell us about the range, as in what sort of things is it that you actually make and create? Ooh,
so this isn't jewellery. So a lot of the other DNA companies that I know of do focus on jewellery, and I have a gorgeous range of jewellery that I'm adding to and kind of swapping in and out all the time to make sure that I have something that kind of suits everyone's taste. But not all people like jewellery. That's just how it is. I have rings for men and women, and you know, some just don't like it. So I'm one of the rare ones that I know of that actually make display keepsakes as well. So sometimes display keepsakes. Okay, so this, for example, now this is sand in it, but sand actually works the same as ashes when we're crafting with it. Yeah. So it actually looks clear, but it's just got a little purple background.
Beautiful. Yeah, so, I can see it very well. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is one of the pieces. It was a practice piece for a client who asked for ashes in this shape, and I just wanted to practice to make sure that, you know, it was going to turn out nice. And I love how it turned out. I love that you can see the ashes through the center, as well as on the front. So we have those. Jewelry wise. Sorry, just talk amongst yourselves for a moment.
It's okay. No pressure. We're all waiting for you.
Take your time. No, I don't. I had some
That's okay. Like, even if you want to talk us through what else you do, like, you don't have to show all of them, but I just thought it's nice, whatever you have to show for us.
So look, I can show you these ones. I don't think they'll blow because it's daytime, but we've just launched a new collection on our 2nd birthday, which was September just gone, called the Forever Collection. Now, the Forever Collection was designed because I had a family that I'd crafted for ask me if I would make their wedding bands for their ceremony using the ashes of their little girl, Emily, who was born at 26 weeks gestation. She had some health issues, and under medical advice, she was given birth to at 26 weeks so that mum and dad could hold her as she passed away. At the time, I didn't have a way of making pieces that were durable for everyday wear. Resin keepsakes are not for everyday wear. They are designed for, you know, the most precious of times and those special moments. However,
really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I do have a lot of clients that wear them every day. And look, if you want to wear them every day, that's on you. But to keep them, you know, shiny and not scratched and all of those things.
Do they turn into a bit of yellowish after
they can
years?
sunlight? UV sunlight can tint them yellow if they're clear. If they're coloured, generally they don't turn enough that you would notice it. But I had a full bracelet of my own that I deliberately wore for 2 years. I wore it swimming lessons. I wore it in the shower, the beach, the pool, all of the things that I tell you not to do. I deliberately did it because I just wanted to see what would happen if you completely and utterly ignored the care instructions you were given. And it was just the surface of it just dulled. The structure of it, the integrity of it, the look of it to me was still gorgeous. It's only when I put it up against a new bead that I just made that you could really tell the difference. But because they were all wearing at the same rate, it really didn't bother me too much. But these are, and I hope that's coming through clear for you. Please tell me if it's not. So this one here has 24 karat gold flecks. It also has purple opal. This one.
And can I just ask, all of them are made for like ashes, or because
yes?
I mean, I was so blown away because I've never heard that title before, that you are a DNA artist. So you're obviously working with a lot more than just ashes, as we mentioned before. I know it's quite a morbid question, but you know, since we are on the topic, what you create, can you share with us what you can actually use apart from ashes? You said hair, breast milk.
Yeah. So
what other things do you use?
I currently craft with breast milk and formula for formula mums. I craft with umbilical stump. I craft with dried placenta. Hair, pet fur. What else? Embryo ash. I have a supplier that actually helps with IVF families that have embryos left over, and their families are complete and they don't know what to do with their leftover embryos. So we now have a service where we can cremate those and use those ashes in pieces. Obviously pet ash and loved ones cremations. But sometimes there's not DNAs available, you know, for people like me who didn't know. And for you, you know, I mean, you have ashes still, but if you didn't, so I'm about to sneeze, how rude. We also use things like flowers, fabrics. We use sand if you were married on the beach, as you were. You know, we can use the sand that you were standing on as you said your vows, and we can turn those into jewelry and into something for your home that has what you were standing on the moment that you became husband and wife, husband and husband. You know, if you're married in a garden, you know, we can use the dirt. You know, there's always a way that we can turn something. I mean, even with loved ones, there's generally always something that you think of when you think of that loved one. I know for myself, my grandfather is always wearing the same type shirt. Like it's different colors, but it's the same shirt. So, you know, for me, being able to just take a swatch of that shirt, pick one, anyone, you know, I can then make something for my whole family without it needing any explanation, and they're going to know who it's for, what it represents, and we're going to have that little piece of him, you know, in each of our homes. You know, for my grandmother, it would be flowers. She's so proud of her garden. She's always out there, you know, even at 83, you know, tending to her roses and tending to the flowers that she's got up the back that nobody else sees but her. So for my family, that's what would come to mind first.
So when you, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt.
That's right, go ahead.
Okay, so when you, this beautiful family that you told us about, you know, that wanted to get their wedding bands done, what did you create out of that? Because this is just so touching, like, you know, having...
So at the time I had to say no. I said, look, I would love to, but there are other DNA artists that have been caught out because they are claiming that things like this can be worn every day, and then, you know, stones fall out or it gets scratched and ruined. And what we're making is, in most cases, irreplaceable, depending on, you know, how much hair you have of a loved one, or, you know, we use hair from first haircuts for, you know, for toddlers. You know, that's like a once in a lifetime opportunity. Once the hair from that haircut's gone, like there's no going back and just, oh, I'll grab some more off the floor.
I still got the 2 first curls of my boys.
I've got all my kids' first curls too. And everyone that knows me now, when they've taken their child to get a haircut, is the parent that's on the floor picking it up, like putting it in an envelope. And, you know, the first girlfriend that did it, she's like, people were looking at me real weird. And I said, well, what did you say? She said, I stood up real proud, and I said, I'm going to have a ring made out of this. If you want to know how, here's my girlfriend's card. And I went, oh, I'm so proud of you.
But
again,
really
it's one of those, it's a special moment in time and a milestone that, you know, sometimes you want to go back and relive. And that's what I'm about. I'm about bringing moments from your life and turning them into something physical that you can hold. And I just love it. I love what I do. I hate how it came about. But I love that, you know, almost even after his passing, he's found a way to support us, you know, to guide us in, you know, this is a family business that, you know, my 2 teenagers help with. Well, I've got 3 teenagers, you know, help with. And, you know, that I really do feel could be huge. Sadly, losing people is an everyday occurrence, and it's happening, you know, at a rate that is alarming, but it is a natural cycle of life. When it's your loved one, you don't care about that, and I completely understand that. I agree with you, and I've been there. But to know that this exists before you ever need it is what I'm trying to get out there. As you said before, you know, when you lose a loved one, the last thing you're thinking of is something like this. Your heart has just been shattered. You know, you've got to put your pieces back together before you can, you know, do anything. So I'm trying to get in touch with, you know, florists and funeral homes and celebrants and all of those people that you would get into contact with, so that they can be the ones to prompt you. Would you like us to keep some hair or ashes aside? You know, for any future keepsakes that you might like to have made, especially if you've lost your husband and you've got a 5-year-old daughter, you are not thinking about her wedding day. You know, it's just not something. It just doesn't enter your mind. And even for sons, you know, we offer cufflinks and stuff for men as well as the rings. But again, you're not thinking about that. But when the time comes 20 or 25 years later, you know, to be able to say, I actually have something here of dad, you know, that is yours to have, you know, I can't imagine what that, not relief, that's not the right word, but what the emotional connection would feel like.
What a gift it would be. I think that's the right word. It is such a gift. And, you know, I'm going to share a funny story with you. Funny, not funny. I find it quite funny now, actually, because my husband actually did the unthinkable that everybody's always worried about. He lost his wedding ring. And I was quite cool about it, to be honest, because I said, you know what, I know that it will show up one day. I just know. And even if, you know, it's just a symbol, that doesn't change anything in our relationship, in the love that we have for each other. And till this day, this ring has not showed up. And it's actually a band made of platinum. It's got two bands turning around each other, and it's like in a wavy shape. So we had engraved one wave because it was all about this, you know, two waves becoming one. And I still have mine. And I always thought once I find Rod's ring, because it's two rings, I would separate them because they only run on a track and give one each to the boys if they want to, you know, to make their wedding bands out of that. And luckily, hopefully, I've got at least 10 years to go before they get married, maybe even 20, who knows. But the thing is, I still know that this ring will show up, and people might go like, but it's been at least 5 years that he lost it, if not longer. And yet I'm still convinced that this ring will show up in perfect timing. I've like literally talked to people about that who got abilities to see and to know, and they're like, the ring is in the house, and I'm convinced the ring is in this house. I just always knew the ring is in this house somewhere. And
it's in the last place you look.
Yeah, it will show up. I'm absolutely convinced it will show up. So anyway, Allison, I would love for you to tell us a little bit about, hold on, there are people commenting. That's a great idea to collaborate, with the funeral homes about this. Yeah, exactly my thinking. That would be the absolute first go-to place to actually talk to funeral chains, I would say, and put that into their repertoire, because it's really just so beautiful. And Heather is saying, oh, it's just says Heather is watching with you. Hi, Heather.
Hi,
Heather. Allison, how can people contact you, and is there a way that people can have a look at the range, the options that you offer? Do you have a website, a Facebook page, anything where people can follow you or check out the details, what it is that you actually offer?
Yeah, so we've got a Facebook page and a Facebook group. It is Today, Tomorrow, Always DNA on Facebook.
Yeah.
We have.
Don't worry, guys. I'm going to get Allison to share the links in the comments below.
Okay.
So you don't need to write that down
myself. We are also on Pinterest. We're on Instagram. We're on YouTube. We're on TikTok. I even created a TikTok account. It's not really doing well. So, you know, I think I might just change that to a personal
cut that
one.
out.
Yeah, just erase this bit. What else? On our website, we've got that as well. So we're actually, I have something exciting. Hang on 1 second.
I'm hanging. Drum roll.
They were right next to me the whole time. So let me finish what I was going to say first. So we do have a website. It's todaytomorrowalways.com.au. And on our homepage, there's some options where you can choose to search via what you'd like made. So, pardon me, you can choose by rings, you can choose by beads, or display keepsakes. Or if you're not sure what you want made, but you know what DNA you've got, then you can search by that as well. So you can search breast milk, you can search ashes or hair, and all of the things that are suitable for that will come up. So we've tried to make it really easy to navigate, because sometimes websites aren't clear. And I'm always trying to improve it. So if you've got any suggestions, by all means, please let me know, send them through, because I actually really do appreciate them. Because even though I think it might be an easier way to do it, if it's confusing everybody else, then it's not helpful, because I know where things are.
Yeah, of course.
So one of the exciting things that we've actually done, it was actually launched this week. For anyone, this is actually Newcastle baby, and I hope that's going to come through to everyone the right way around.
Yeah. Well, I'll see the right way around. Yeah.
Okay, good. So this is a Newcastle baby magazine that has all amazing businesses from Newcastle here in New South Wales. And one of those amazing businesses just so happens to be us.
How cool is that? That is really cool.
So this is
that,
our,
like
I have a
bracelet
few of these.
that was on the top. Yeah.
Yes. Sorry. Did everyone want to see the photos a bit better? Let me find it again.
Yeah, that looks really beautiful.
So that top one is a breast milk bead with a strand of hair, a single strand.
Wow.
Our forever beads.
So beautiful.
our little teddy bears that we offer, and our hold in my hand, I think we call this one here. This is made of breast milk, this one.
Wow, unbelievable.
So yeah, this was really exciting. So I actually have some. So if anyone's interested in a copy, send me a message and I'll send you one. And we're also being featured in the Natural Parent magazine, which is a magazine that is both here in Australia and New Zealand. So that's been really exciting too, because I do have like a partner program where people can kind of sign up if they believe in what I do and they want to spread the word. Then they sign up with me, they get their own link to my website, and then simply by directing people to it, any sales that are made, I give you 10% off. So whether you want to use that to have your own pieces made, I have one particular celebrant who's like, I don't want the money, I want you to keep it aside. And when somebody calls because their baby has passed away, but they can't afford it, I want to pay for it. And I'm like, oh my God, I love you so much for doing that. Yeah.
So beautiful. Yeah.
We're looking at, because, you know, I don't have anything better to do than make myself busier. So I'm also in the process of starting my own charity, which will actually give care boxes to parents whose babies don't get to come home with them. It will obviously contain a keepsake from us. We've got a celebrant who's going to do a naming ceremony. We've got birth photographers, hand and feet impressions. We're looking for a cleaning service, a food delivery service, someone to come in and make sure that your washing's done. And, you know, if you've got older children, when you come home from the hospital, you're already emotional enough as it is. When you've got older children and you've been talking up, you know, we're going to have a new baby, and you're preparing them, and then you come home without it, they don't understand. And while you're trying to deal with your grief, you're also trying to run a household and be a parent to your other children. And look, there's no need to be super parents at that point. So our goal is to actually provide some practical help. You know, someone who can do drop-offs and pickups for schools, you know, take the kids to the park so that you can have some time together. Because nothing like this is being offered in Australia at all, and it kills me. I don't understand how we're not supporting parents better than what we are. So it's in its very infant stages, but that will continue to progress, and it might take me a couple of years, but it will happen. There's no doubt about it.
It's awesome.
And my goal
so
is
we
to
put
have
a shout it out there right now for anyone watching this, because the Upstyle Grief interviews are the only videos that also get shared outside the group. So I'm actually always, when the interview is done, it gets put on YouTube and you get the link, I get the link, everybody can share that link. It will be posted in the comments below. For those of you watching this right here in the Loving Life After Loss group, you can actually copy and paste the YouTube link and share it outside as well. So we actually encourage you to do that, because whatever you share from the group is not shareable, because this is a closed group, but these interviews are recorded, are put on YouTube, so you can share it outside of the group. So whoever is watching this and you feel that you could potentially contribute in any way to this beautiful charity that Allison just mentioned, you're more than welcome to, hey Bonnie, you're more than welcome to contact Allison and get in touch with her. And also I would really recommend this, Allison, for anyone watching this right now who is thinking about getting any keepsake, form of jewelry, anything they like done, and they don't even know where to start. I would strongly suggest have a look at Allison's website. I will get her to post all the social media links in the comments below, so you'll be bombarded with them. Don't you worry, you will be able to find her. And just get in touch with her and tell her, you know, I've got this and that. I've got no idea where to start, and I'm absolutely certain that Allison will be able to talk you through the steps and have some suggestions for you. And even if it's something that Allison hasn't done before, I'm sure you'll love a challenge and see if there's anything else that you can incorporate there. So Allison, anything else that you would like to share with our viewers before we conclude this interview?
Look, if I could ask everyone that sees this video to mention this to one person, that's all I'm asking. My goal is to reach 5 million people a year, not not just for my business, but for my industry. People need to know that this is available. People need to know that this is something that they can be planning for with their families before their times come. And, you know, have some, you know, when you're writing your will, you know, if you think your children would like something like this, have it in your will that a certain amount is allocated to something like this. Yeah. If, you know, if you like me and would like me to craft it, then we have gift vouchers. But if you're buying it for your family when your time comes, it won't have an expiry date. We'll just, in your will, let them know, contact this person. And, you know, it'll all be taken care of for you, but you'll have had a say, which will make it even more special for loved ones, you know, when the time comes. By all means, we've got a contact us page on our website. If you have any questions at all, please send them through. I'm happy to answer them all. I would rather people ask and for me to have to answer a million questions than for one person to have something made that they don't love and that they didn't understand.
Or to even miss out on the opportunity on getting something made that is so special for them, you know.
Yeah, my goal is right now is to just let people know I'm here and what I can do. You know, yes, I make gorgeous breast milk pieces. Yes, I make, you know, the pieces for weddings, but the celebration pieces, I mean, but my real passion is making sure that no one is in the position my family is of saying that they, you know, I wish I knew you existed when. It really kills me. So you know, if you happen to like our page, share our posts. You know, I'm trying to educate people on things that I didn't know. I didn't know how to respond to parents who had lost a child. And I only learnt that through asking questions. So now I've got an ebook that's out that you can download for free that gives you some, you know, tips on, you know, this is what parents have told me that they wish people would have said or didn't say. You know, if you've got a topic that you would like answered, send it through to me. I will do the research and I will get the answers and make sure that, you know, the world is educated on a topic that for some reason still seems really taboo. It doesn't seem like it's comfortable to talk about, but it should be.
It is making, like, it really is making more and more of an appearance now. It's becoming more and more normal, but I really do believe there's still a lot of education work to be done, because there's still a lot of things that I did not think of, that I didn't know about. And one of my very, very close friends, unfortunately, went through this trauma of losing her son straight after birth, like literally 2 hours after. And she had the most amazing, beautiful photos taken, jewellery made, and only through her did I actually come across some of those things that I was not aware of before, what's actually possible. So I love that you're out there to educate people and share the word about that into the world. And just really, I love your enthusiasm, Alison. That's why I wanted to bring you into this group, to really share what you do, who you are, your beautiful story. That's really, really touching. And also, I really believe that, you know, by sharing that, you can make so many people's lives that little bit easier and happier for having that keepsake that will always remind you of that very, very special person in your life. So I don't think we can rave about that enough.
No,
it's a sad background, but it's a really, really beautiful outcome, what you offer to the world. So I just really want to thank you for your time, for your beautiful energy, for being here. And I want to read this out as well, Bonnie. We all have a keepsake with my daughter's ashes in them, close to our hearts, which is so beautiful, Bonnie. I'm really, really glad that you could get that done. It's really very special. And so yeah, Alison, I will contact you after our interview for you to be able to share all your links here. I'd really, she's gone.
Yep, sorry.
We lost your video. Oh, there you go. So thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. People, you can find all her links in the comments below in the next, I'd say, half hour or so.
I'll jump on and put them up now.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Thank you,
Any
everyone.
questions, you can put them in the comments below or contact Alison via the website that she will be sharing. So much love to all of you watching here. Thank you so much, Alison, for being here.
Thank you for having me, and thank you to everyone that joined us, and thank you to everyone that's made it this far through the video of watching as they're watching later on. So
Thank you. Thanks so much for being here. Have a lovely day, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye for now. See ya.